Dead miniatures stay dead. I played a game of Mordheim the other day, and this miniature, unfortunately, died. I should probably fix this one first before I find a replacement. You will be missed. You will be missed. See, in a game of Mordheim, when you have a casualty, this book is so hard to navigate. Oh, I love that image, by the way. Rat on the stilts, so good. Okay, when there's a casualty, you're on the hero's serious injuries chart. At the end of your game, you roll 2 dice and you find out what happens. And there's a chance, 1 to 15, dead. Dead. And so that came up the other day because, see, a couple of weeks ago at PAX, I had the opportunity to play a game of Mordheim with Dave from Tabletop Time and Scott from Tired World Studios, who made the beautiful, beautiful board. Scott and I have been playing Mordheim for a little while now, but it was Dave's first time playing, and I think he had a great time. We played a scenario where a boat had been captured and ransacked, and then whoever was stealing from the boat discovered some sort of ghost in the captain's quarters. And so it was our job to try to steal the treasure and defeat the ghost. I was kind of cheeky and I held back and I waited for everyone else to fight the ghost when my pop man came in and just went pop, 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 and put things in his head. It was great. I had a really good time, but old mate tragically died. You know, it's kind of an uncommon house rule that you don't reuse the models that have died in a campaign, but people do it, and I'm one of those people. And I have another game to play tomorrow morning, so I need to find a replacement, like, now. Maybe, like, this tree man could be a good base for a beast man. This guy just kind of seems like a regular guy, which could be funny to put like a mask on him. My last beastman was really tall, so what if I just made one really, really small? A head swap, and this could be a lot of character. Good models are also good narrative. I don't know, I think. So maybe I kind of got a little bit distracted. I started making little cards or a card template for each of my warband members, and that way, instead of having like a roster like as a A4 sheet, I can have little cards because I love using little cards in games. Anyway, I gotta finish this now that I've started it. Oh man, I'm gonna be so tired for my game tomorrow. But look at this. Isn't that fun, dude? Isn't that fun? Oh, I'm so tired. One more. I just gotta put together my model.
Is that meant to hang off the table, or do I turn around so it's...
The game went well, but my very last minute kitbash, turns out he's a bloody coward. He kept failing his charges because the models he was trying to fight caused fear, and he just got locked in his own head for like 3 turns. But he did survive. All right, time for a paint job. There's Chef, and now it will feel extra bad if he dies in the campaign. And that's the point. I was also kind of ashamed that this miniature wasn't done while I was playing, so I'm quickly giving it a little paint job. I think she looks pretty badass. You know, the cool thing about metal models is that they're metal. The downside is they chip. You know, the horns and stuff, they've chipped off. Potman has been the star of every game I've played so far. You'll get the freshest coat, little Potman. Oil paints take a really, really long time to dry, and you can't varnish them until they're completely dry. So like, I don't know when I'll ever actually get a chance to protect them. And if you're playing a Mordheim game, I really wouldn't recommend using oil paints because you won't be able to handle them the next day. They'll be still wet. Also had to do a very quick repair at PAX when this fell off the table. So there's a big gap in the wing now. A little bit of super glue in that gap. Some bicarb soda. Yellow paint over the top. Quick and dirty repair on the back. There's a bit of texture, sticks out a little bit, but like, I like my models to wear their battle scars. And now this wing will never come off again. Also, I ended up loving this model so much, I added it to my warband as a possessed model, and it immediately died. So, another casualty. Its replacement is this, which I'm painting up. This is a miniature that I designed. My partner, beautiful partner, Rachel, she did the sculpting, and then I got it cast at Ramshackle Games while I was in the UK. I'm still painting it. I had a little bit of trouble working out the color scheme that I wanted to do, but I basically just did something that would match everything else. I tried to be a bit experimental at first, but my Mordheim warband is growing one miniature at a time, and every miniature has a story. And I think, honestly, playing a campaign of Mordheim isn't so much about the games themselves. I think it's kind of what happens in between those games. Your models get injured, they gain skills, and after every single game, you explore. And you know, every single outcome for exploring has its own little narrative. You roll double fours and you find a straggler. Your warband encounters one of the survivors of Mordheim who has lost his sanity among all his worldly possessions. And then, depending on what kind of warband you have, a different outcome happens. Every warband, every character starts developing a story. All this sort of stuff is what got me into role-playing. You know, an outcome for getting injured is that you get sold to the pits to fight. And then you have to fight. And I made a whole pit for that sole purpose. That's how much I love this stuff. And also why it's important for me that my characters only live once. At least in Mordheim. You know, my previous Mordheim warband, that actually went on to become an entire Warhammer army. My Nurgle Diaries series. One time I made a whole army. Every single model that I made from scratch, a couple of days before the event it was gonna fight in, every single casualty I would sell that day, or at least attempt to. And this is all that's kind of left of the army. I mean, in the end, some of them I just traded for like beer as they were coming off the table. But I love the concept so much. And it's honestly something I would want to do again. I want to keep making stuff and I want excuses to make stuff. I don't think you should be as hardcore weird as me, but it's an option.